Yo, being a father is hard. My mind be deep in the future while thinking about scars. Inevitable to sift out character flaws. The moments I know my baby gon' slip in the fall. Pray for strength through it all. Being a father is hard. Knowing the influence that in play from the start. To strip it down of identity deep in our heart. The gender wars and confusion and stopping nothing to mold them till they forget who they are.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Dedicated Dads Podcast. I am your host, Mr. Bishop. We're back for another great episode. The title of this episode is The Dad and Mom Dynamic. Now, this is a topic that is very heavy because we don't often speak about how our relationships with our children's parents, other parents, the spouse, leads to healthy relationships with our kids. What are they watching? What are they going to emulate as they get older? So this is a topic that is sorely needed. For today's guest, I have a great friend of mine. He's been friends with this gentleman for over 25 years. He's from Brooklyn, New York. His name is Joel Benjamin. Currently resides in Florida with his wife and 2 kids. He has a son and a daughter. Holds his master's in marriage and family therapy. So he is the perfect person to speak to about this topic. So let's bring him on. Joel, how are you, sir?
All right, man. How you feeling?
Man, I'm doing great, man. This topic here is a good one. You know, the mom and dad dynamic. I mean, a lot of us only have one perspective. I know personally for me, I only have one perspective because I grew up in a one-parent home. Now, my mom did what she could with her boyfriends, but those are boyfriends. You know what I mean? They can't whoop you, or at least they shouldn't. I done got my fair share ass whooping. No matter who was dishing them out. So it really don't matter. But this is a topic that's interesting because it's something that we don't think of as parents and how it shapes our kids' lives. Right. It's how we relate to their other parent, whether like they live in the house, whether it's an ex-spouse or just, you know, a one-night stand gone bad. We don't talk we don't talk about it. So
That's
this it's a fact, bro. So let me talk. So like I said, you right now you're married, currently married, you have 2 kids. Mm-hmm. So let me ask you the first question. First question I have about this topic is, how do you make major household decisions? Is it a joint decision, or does one person usually have the final say?
I run everything, bro. I make all the decisions. I'm just kidding. Hell no. So the way I see it is, I think it depends on the dynamic between the 2 parties, right? I feel that it works best if it's a partnership, right? Because I can make all the decisions, sure, but if I make a decision in an area where I lack, then I can kind of drive us over the cliff simply because I say I'm going to make all the decisions. I'm the man. I make all the decisions. You know what I'm saying? And if she's there as my partner, I believe that she should have a say. And if she believes that her contribution is worth it, I think that would help the decision or the quality of the decision as well. You know what I'm saying? If it's a equal partnership. So I think that also there's other things that are involved in that also, because with that question, it goes into like the question of, or the idea of leadership, right? The man is the head of the household. He's the leader. He's supposed to lead. He's supposed to, whatever he say, go. But then a leader, I think is very I don't think it's really defined properly in our social circles. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So like, because I'm the man, I'm the leader, I make all the decisions. Whatever I say goes. But what if I'm a bad decision maker? What if I don't consider certain things that you might consider? You know what I'm saying? That could kind of change the outcome of, you know, the direction of our marriage or our relationship. So
gotcha.
I think it's important to first define what a leader is, right? Okay. And even to my definition of what a leader is, not even my definition, a definition of what leader is and where we see it from is not like what's out there today. You know what I'm saying?
Very true. Yeah. Very true. And here's the thing too, as well, about being a leader. Mm-hmm. Being a leader just means you're the first person through. Doesn't necessarily mean it's your idea. Doesn't necessarily mean that you 100% agree with it. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you look at just sports in general, you know, they're like, think about, okay, we'll talk about this, even though it's a sore subject for me. The Knicks just won the championship.
Yes, they did.
Now, Jalen Brunson is the leader of that team. However, when he was leading the team against Atlanta, they was getting waxed. They were having a hard time. So the decision was made to run through Cat. Cat was going to be the point center. He was going to be the guy who was going to do what needs to be done. Now, it took obviously the buy-in from Jalen Brunson because he's the leader of the team. So he bought into it. And then the team was successful ultimately because of the new strategy. Now, I'm quite sure, being a basketball player, he wouldn't want the ball out of his hands. I mean, he's a point guard. So, I mean, essentially, it's his job to handle the ball, come up the court, and set the offense. But he realized in that moment that not that he was ineffective, but it wasn't leading them to where they needed to go. So the decision was made, cat, and then they start beating everybody by 19, 20, 30, coming back from 29 points, 22 points. But ultimately, again, he wins the MVP because he's still the leader of the team. When it came down to crunch time, he had to do what he had to do. But again, you know, his decision making wasn't really what led the team to where it needed to be, but he still led the team in the decision that was made.
Right. I like how you put that, and I really like how you reference the New York Knicks, the far superior team than all the teams in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, we're going to cut this part out for you.
But what I would say is this, and you highlighted it too. Yo, a leader, like the greatest person that we ever to ever exist, period, was a servant first. Right. So as a leader, you know, since we represent Jalen Brunson as a leader, he became a servant to his team. Right. There was even was it a contract extension, or they were offering him six figure offer? I think it was over 100 million, and he turned it down. You know, to get other players. You know what I'm saying? To get other players on the team so they can have a shot at the title. You know what I'm saying? That's he became a servant, like I don't like to say servant leader. I think leaders serve first. You know what I'm saying? And through their service, then others would follow. You know what I'm saying? He gave up something in service to the team, in service to the organization, so they can be put in a position that they're in now.
Yeah, exactly. He made a sacrifice of his own desires, you know, obviously to be that guy. And ultimately, he still was that guy. I mean, I don't know what he had yesterday, but I think it was something close to 50 points or something like that. And every game they were losing, they relied on him to lead. You know, when they needed a bucket, that's what they went to. Now, whether he flops all the time or not, that's but when they needed the bucket, that's the guy they went to. You know what I mean? Crunch time, he's the guy. I was watching the game. I'm like, this little Mighty Mouse is going to score. I felt it every single time. I'm like, they're going to give him the ball. He's going to get in the paint somehow and make some one-legged, you know, fadeaway shot. And every time he comes through as the leader of the team, you know. So leading, fellas, is not necessarily being the one who makes all the decisions. It's not necessarily meaning that your decision has to overrule someone else's decision. Sometimes being the leader is listening. I mean, you know, the biggest thing is you got to follow before you can lead. So not to say you need to follow your spouse or follow your baby mom or your girlfriend or significant other, but it's always great to have their input. You know, there's a reason why the two of you together. There's certain things that person sees that you don't, certain things that you see that person don't. Like I can speak for myself. When I go out and we're in a public place, like yesterday, I was at a casino. Now I'm in the casino. I'm looking at exits. I'm looking at all the weirdos walking by drinking. This woman is oblivious to everyone in the building. She's just hearing the clink, 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 and looking at the lights and what game she want to play. No care in the world, but it's because our vision is different. My vision says safety and protection and making sure she's good. Her vision says I'm out with him. I don't got to worry about this. I'm going to have fun.
Right.
So ultimately, you know, in a lot of decisions, when they go wrong, it's because one person tries to, I'll say, quote unquote, prevail with their way. And then there's no recourse because now it's okay. You messed up. How do we back out of it? Now I got to bring you into the mistake I made because I didn't ask for your input in the first place.
I like that.
You know what I mean?
A lot. And even to kind of add another layer to that too, because because you guys are married, you know what I'm saying? You know, I'm married too or whatever. And I think service, right? It can give the person like the safety to trust you because they know that you're willing to do whatever it takes to make sure that we're okay, right? It's not somebody that shout from the mountaintops and kind of dictating, you do this, you do that, you do that, you do that. I can't trust your decision. I don't know you. I don't know if you're willing to I don't know if you're willing to sacrifice for our marriage. I don't know if you're willing to sacrifice for me. I don't know if you're willing to sacrifice for the kids, but you still want me to follow your lead. So I think the servanthood, it can kind of draw people to trust you, right? So when it comes time for decisions to be made, they can trust your decision because they know that you're willing to. Your sacrifice will match your whatever the decision is, whatever big decision that you need to make. Your partner knows that your sacrifice will match that.
Yeah.
If he's making this decision, I know I could trust him because he was just down there scrubbing toilets. So I know if it comes time for us to get a business or for us to whatever, I know he would do whatever it takes because there's nothing that he won't do for our family. There's nothing that he won't do for our kids. There's nothing that he won't do for our marriage. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
So I think leadership, and that's not looked at all, bro. I believe that leadership starts first with service.
Of course. Okay, so with that in mind, in the home, if there's a disagreement, if you and your wife happen to argue, how do you resolve it constructively, or do arguments escalate into like that prolonged silent treatment where y'all just walking past each other? Is it yelling? Is it shouting? How do you guys clarify that stuff also without letting the kids know? Because that's a big thing as well.
This is going right here. Let me tell you something, bro. My wife, she's Dominican. She's very, very spicy for me. And I'm pretty reserved, but if you get me there, you earned it. That's the fault. You know what I'm saying? So now it's tough, bro, because when you're in an argument, I don't think there's any conclusion that's gonna come from that. Reason being is because she is worried about getting her point across. I'm concerned about getting my point across. Nobody's hearing anybody. There's no understanding at all. The point of the argument is to obtain or gain at the end some kind of understanding so we can realign.
Gotcha.
Right? Because there's a disconnection somewhere, right? Sometimes the disconnection don't even got to come from the partner.
Okay.
Sometimes the disconnection can come from an unmet need.
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And it's like, yo, you know what? When you did this yesterday, I felt like this. When you did this. Okay. You could say, what you mean? I ain't even do it on purpose. That's your problem. You need to figure out why you feel the way that you feel, And it's like, but I just told you I was vulnerable, which men aren't taught to be vulnerable. I was vulnerable with you. I told you what was the problem. I told you and expressed to you what it is that is bothering me. And the first thing you do is defend why you did it. Is defend you and not look at, damn, what is it that you're trying to tell me? I think if we come from a posture of trying to understand, which is very, very hard, then I think we will get to conclusions a lot faster, right? So I think posture is very, very important because, I'm the type of person I would talk, I would tell you how I'm feeling, but I gauge it, right? I do temperature checks. So I'm like, because I know once I get mad, bro, there's no coming back. And it takes a while for me to get there, but there's no coming back. And that's my problem. You know what I'm saying? So if I have a problem, my wife, she's spicy. And she, you know what I'm saying? When she's spicy, bro. So like if I have a problem, I could be like, yo, look, I want to talk to you real quick. Okay. So now she knows I want to talk to her. Listen, when such and such happened, this is how I felt. I'm just telling you how I feel about what you may have done. Okay. Thing because she feels attacked, right? She feels like I'm coming for her. She may try to defend herself. Those two things necessarily don't have anything to do with one another. Meaning this, her defending herself has nothing to do with me because I didn't attack her. She came from a space where she's constantly attacked and she had to learn how to defend herself and how to protect herself. Gotcha. Right? Because all of us here in life, we would do anything to not feel pain. The only time we are cool with feeling pain if we can see the results immediately afterwards. For example, going to the gym.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The gym. You know what I'm saying? If it wasn't for the immediate results of us going to the gym and getting pumped up and swollen and all that, how much people will go outside immediately and try to pick up a car or stand in front of one while it's driving 100 miles an hour just to see if the results are really the results here. Yo, did I really get strong or not? How am I going to test this out? If you want to that pump, bro, there'll be a lot of dead people.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So, but so aside from that, we do whatever it takes to not feel pain. Pain is very uncomfortable. So we come up with these things called defense mechanisms, right? These are things that protect us from feeling pain. So she has dealt with a lot. And because she's also Hispanic and she came up in the Bronx as well. It's tough down there. You know what I'm saying? And she comes from, and none of our parents really know how to properly defend themselves, whatever. We have to come up with stuff to not feel what we're feeling. Her way of doing that is to defend herself. Be snappy, be sarcastic, be whatever. That right there will keep whatever pain is coming, it will keep it at bay.
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm coming to her with something that even looks remotely close to me attacking her, she does that.
Mm. You know, it's interesting what you say, and it's a word you didn't use, but I often say at my house. That word triggered. People love saying that word, and it's funny. I had to break it down, and I tell mine, like, listen, triggers are something that happens internally. And she said, "What are you talking about?" I said, "Well, just I have lupus. Okay, now my trigger is the sun. Now, inherently, there's nothing wrong with sunlight. The sun is there. It makes the trees grow and the plants grow and all the other stuff. It's wonderful." The trigger is how my body treats the sun. So it's an internal thing. It has nothing to do with the sun itself. So her favorite thing to say is, "Oh, well, you triggered me." No, you triggered yourself because I said something that made you uncomfortable. You decided to interpret it the way you want to interpret it, and that's how you applied it. So it's the same thing, like I said, with my lupus. The sun hits my skin. If I don't have on sunblock after a prolonged amount of time, my body interprets that vitamin D as a threat. And so my body does what it does to try to protect itself, which is swell up. Okay, we got to get rid of this stuff, send it to the joints because that's the only place we can send it. So that's why I swell. So it has nothing to do with the sunlight itself. It has to do with the sunlight comes in, my body doesn't know how to treat what's coming in, and so it reacts defensively and ultimately hurts itself. I always say you can't defend yourself, especially married couples. You can't defend yourself from yourself. You can't. If someone is coming to you with something that needs to be addressed, it's an internal thing. I've never seen anyone get upset with their stomach because they got diarrhea, or upset with their head because they have a headache, or upset with their teeth because they have a toothache. It's something that happens internally. You address it so that you can move forward. Yeah, you try to find that root cause of, okay, what's triggering this? Oh, I have a cavity. I got to see a dentist.
Yeah.
Or I'm lactose intolerant and I had 6 things of ice cream. That's what's happening. But at any time it happens in our body, personally, we always look for what happened. I woke up with a bump on my leg. What happened? I must have got bit. And now I'm looking for spiders or mosquitoes. Or like I said, when your stomach hurts, you're looking. What's the first thing people say when they have their stomach ache? What did I eat last night? They're looking for the source of where the pain is coming from. However, when it comes from the spouses, how dare you? Because 3 weeks ago, you looked at me this way. There's no identification of why did I say this like that? Why did I snap like this?
Right.
Why did I interpret what he said when he said we need to talk? I don't like the way you looked at me that time. Why did I interpret it that way? They never, nobody ever does that. And this is me personally as well. And this is me speaking personally, not just bashing women, because I'm not. It happens to me as well. If there's an ineffective leadership decision, or if I thought something was going to work out that didn't, as soon as I hear it, I'm like, well, listen, I was just trying to make things better, because you like to spend money. I always bring it back. Instead of looking like, why did I make the decision?
And that's very true. Because even to me, I don't like being yelled at. Don't yell at me. You know what I'm saying? I don't like being yelled at. And they could be very loud. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes she could be very loud. And I'm like, yo, you yelling at me. To me, that indicates that like you're above me, right? That you're better than me, or that you're trying to attack me. You know what I'm saying? It could be physically, verbally, or what have you. You know what I'm saying? So immediately I'm going to try to defend myself, and I become very defiant. You know what I'm saying? So I got to work on that, because I need to know that in that moment, she's not trying to do that. You know what I'm saying? She's not trying to hurt me. She's not going to hit me. She's not, you know what I'm saying? It's not any of that.
Yeah.
So but in those times, like, it's hard. It's really, really hard. So, even to add another layer. So being married, we have gotten into fights. I have given her, I don't even want to say the silent treatment, because like I feel like the silent treatment is like you just be quiet, and I think you're looking for a result from the other person. I don't talk to you if I won't talk to you if I feel as though I can't.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because I talk. You know what I'm saying? So it's like if I can't talk to you, then I won't. You know what I'm saying? And that frustrates me because, oh, shoot, you there? Oh, snap. Oh, shoot. Hello? Oh, shoot, I lost you.
Yeah, everything you said though, I mean, it's right on point. You know, what's the point in talking to someone if you feel they're not going to listen?
That's
You know what I mean? It's like, and then you get upset because in your head you're making sense.
Mm-hmm.
In my head, this makes complete sense.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like eggs for breakfast, so stop making omelets. In her head, it's I like omelets, and you told me you like omelets before. You know what I mean? So if I can't speak to you in a way that we're both going to understand, in a way that we're both going to be able to establish, or like you said, reconnect, essentially, after a disagreement, maybe it's better just to be quiet. You know, we all heard it. You don't got nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all.
You know what I'm saying? And like, but a better way to handle that is to kind of look through all the filigree, if you will. So it's like, all right. So this is kind of like the service part too, right? To learn your partner with the intent to understand them, right? So try to understand them. So because if we understand each other, the more we understand each other, is the better the communication will flow, I believe. So it's like, all right, if I know you and I know you come from an environment that has caused you to defend yourself in this manner, I know I'm not attacking you. So if you respond to me in that way, I need to know and probably be the leader in that regard to offer you like a safe space. Yo, look, I'm not coming for you. You don't have to talk to me that way.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to explain something to you here. You know what I'm saying? This is what I'm trying to convey to you.
Mm-hmm.
I know you're not attacking me. This is coming from something else. You know what I'm saying? And this could help them be aware. Oh, shoot, yo, I'm wilding.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wilding. But I think it comes from a place of, yo, man, this is very layered, bro. This is very layered because it's like learning your partner, and when you learn your partner, you could better cater to them. Mm-hmm. But you do run the possibility that it may not be reciprocated. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? You do run that risk. But like when you marry someone, bro, what you do is you declare war on your conditions. Conditions meaning like the things that made me who I am in rough times. Those things I may have to forsake for the sake of my partner. You know what I'm saying? So marriage and relationships and all that kind of stuff, like it can't really, it can function with two selfish people, but it won't for long. Marriage requires two people to be selfless, right? Like if it's gonna work, it can still function, but it's not gonna work as it's intended. So like say you got somebody that's willing to serve, that come from a posture of, yo, how can I help you? Instead of, yo, what's wrong with you? You know what I'm saying? Somebody could come from that posture, the other person could come from a posture of selfishness. That's like driving your car with a spare tire. It could work, you know what I'm saying, but that wasn't the intention.
Yeah, it was just to get you somewhere safe so that you can get the attention you need, so that you can get the real tire that needs to be on the car.
You feel
I got you. Yeah.
So like, but that right there, I think service, like and this might even go into the next question, because I believe that joins I believe, yeah, man. Yo, all right. So this is the other thing. This is the other thing I was gonna say. Yo, I'm telling you, man, I got a lot to say on this, man. So, all right. So I was thinking the other day, right? And you ever been to Chick-fil-A?
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
You've been to Popeyes.
Yep.
Right. And Chick-fil-A, right? Do you see the lines is always the lines is always long all the time.
Yeah.
Right?
Mhm.
Popeyes, the lines is always empty.
Yeah.
Right. Do you know that Chick-fil-A is way more unhealthy than Popeyes?
I wouldn't have imagined that. No.
That's crazy, right?
Yeah.
So I was thinking about it. What's the big deal with Chick-fil-A? Their sandwiches is
Mhm.
you know what I'm saying? Like they may put something out every once in a while seasonal, but it's usually the same stuff. What is it that makes Chick-fil-A and Popeyes? Well, one thing I noticed was the service.
Mhm. That's it.
The service can pack the lines, bro. Popeyes has horrible service, and I believe that they food is better than Chick-fil-A.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? But nobody's ever at Popeyes. They service is trash,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
So okay, how does that correlate to marriage and relationship? Okay, cool. They service will make you come back,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
So what is it that we are doing, or what our partners are doing, to make us want to come back home,
Mhm.
to want to come back and share something with you, to want to come back and do stuff with you, to want to come back and really want to know you? Because it's like when we get into these discussions, or when we butt heads and we get into arguments, I think a process of how can I help you, I believe that we will come to conclusions a lot faster, bro. A lot faster. So it's like, all right, she's pissed at me, I'm pissed at her. If she comes to me and is like, yo, I notice you mad, and you don't get mad for no reason.
Mhm.
Yo, how can I help you, bro? What's going on? Yo, when I tell you I will melt, I'll tell her everything. I tell her everything. I tell her whatever, because she wants to help me. You want to help me? That's
Mhm.
crazy. Instead of, yo, what's wrong with you? I don't understand why you so sensitive. I don't understand why you get like that. I don't understand why you behave this way, or why you say the
Mhm.
things you say. You're attacking me.
Yeah.
We ain't gonna get nowhere. So I think posture is important. But imagine if two people came with, yo, how can I help you? Yo, you upset, and I'm here to make sure that your life is easier. You committed your life to me. You
Mhm.
committed time to me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that joint is important to me. You are important to me. How can I help you?
Mm.
I think if that comes on both sides, man, yo, there will be no silent treatment. There wouldn't be no yelling and screaming at one another. You know what I'm saying? I think that will reduce if the
Yeah.
heart posture changes.
I agree. And so with that, how do
Mhm.
you establish the healthy balance between being a parent and being married, or being with a
Mhm.
girlfriend or boyfriend whom you have a child with and you live with? Not saying that the relationships are different, obviously, with between marriage and dating, but domestically, when you're residing in the same house,
Okay.
how do you establish the healthy balance between being mom and dad and then being husband and wife?
I feel like alignment is extremely vital when it comes to that.
Okay.
So even though we're different, like the NBA champions that were, the New York Knicks, you know what I'm saying? Even though they have players at different positions, crazy different personalities.
Mhm.
You got a Jamaican, a Puerto Rican, a Dominican on the same team. You know what I'm saying? Like it's such differences, but they were aligned in the goal, right? The goal is to get
Mm.
a chip.
Yep.
The goal is to whatever. I think with alignment, I think everything else would kind of fall into place, because we will both look back up at what we agreed upon. So it's like, all right, cool. Establish a balance. Okay. When it comes to parenthood, for example, the kids are important. Okay, cool. If you're married and you got kids, the kids are important, but we need to prioritize our marriage, because the kids
Mm.
are the result of whatever condition the marriage is in,
Yeah.
right? So we need to prioritize ourselves, which means, yo, look, use your community. Yo, look, Joel, Can you hold down these kids? Me and wifey about to go out to dinner real quick. Say no more.
Yeah.
So it gives you guys to reconnect, so your kids can get the best quality care from you. Right? That's important. So I think alignment meaning that you guys both value that. I think that will help maintain the balance, alignment and consistency. So keeping that alignment together, keeping those priorities that you guys prioritize, like say you guys hold marriage as number 2, keep it there. Don't let it fall to number 3 or number 4, whatever. Both of y'all need to align on the same things that's important, because it's going to benefit or hinder your kids. If you're not married, alignment is still important. Yo, listen, look, we in this for the kids, because you got some situations where the alignment is okay. We in it for the kids, but then somebody has an ulterior motive. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, the kids is important, but you can't date nobody. So if I see that you got a girlfriend, or if I see you got a boyfriend, you know, I'm gonna turn up. Like, how could you? Whatever. Then your goal wasn't the kids. Your goal was to make sure that I'm not happy, and you're using the kids to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think alignment is important, and both working together to make sure that thing that you guys are aligned on, it stays there, because we fall out of alignment all the time. All the time. So I think it's important to have a common goal. If you're not married, okay, cool, you got a kid together, you guys not in a relationship, the goal is to make sure that the kids is good. So anything in my personal life or whatever, that's really not really your concern, really. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Your kids is good. We make sure that the kids are good. We picking them up. I'm dropping them off. I'm sending you money. I'm not sending you money. You picking them up. You buying them clothes or whatever. We stay right there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
and it's critical, like you said, to be in alignment, you know, especially if you just take it into everyday terms. A car, every car comes out of the factory fully aligned, but as you go down the road and you hit potholes, as you turn that wheel too hard to the left, too hard to the right, you slam on them brakes. Even though the two front wheels should both be facing 100% forward, sometimes one of them get a little lazy-eyed, like Biggie Smalls, and now one of them is looking left or looking right. Well, I know we've all seen those cars driving down the street, those souped-up little Hondas, when the wheels are too big and they bowed out. You know what I mean? Where the top of the wheel looks like it's in the wheel well, and the bottom looks like it's way out past the doors.
Yes, sir.
So you know, as you're going down the road of life, of parenthood, of relationships, you're gonna hit those potholes. You're gonna hit those snags where somebody might get out of alignment, where somebody misunderstands something, and then they put that on the back burner. But every time an argument comes up, they bring it right back. So getting, like you said, back on that alignment is important, just to make sure, you know, everything is good. And I remember I heard someone say before, they do a weekly check-in with their spouse, like a business meeting on Sunday night.
Yes, sir.
If there was a grievance during the week they didn't understand, or something that was said or done that they didn't like, they bring it on Sunday night, because Sunday night they know this is our time to sit, have this discussion. No one's caught off guard. No one feels like they're being blindsided. We're going to sit down, we're going to discuss. So this week, when you did this, I didn't like it. This is why, this is how it made me feel. And then the other person has a chance to respond, but it's not in an argumentative way.
Right.
It's not in the heat of the moment, because a lot of times that's where arguments arise. I feel like you just did me wrong, or you disrespected me. I'm gonna tell you about yourself right now.
Yes, sir.
Whether we at Universal Studios or at the house or at church, people don't care. People gets it in. You know what I mean? When people feel like they get offended, they get it in. So people, please remain aligned with your partner. If you need to do weekly status check-ins, if it's every night when you're sitting in bed scrolling on the phone, make the time to make sure that you guys are still going. If you want your relationship to work, I'll say.
Yes.
Make sure that you're checking in with that partner to make sure things are healthy, not just for yourself, but for your kids. With that being said, why is it healthy for kids to see that healthy mom and dad relationship?
I think it's healthy because they're most likely repeat it. Most likely repeat what they see. And us as adults, I heard somebody say, this is years ago, like, we all kids, we just know how to behave in public. You know what I'm saying? So we ultimately repeat what we see from the home. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if we see mom and dad fighting all the time, if we see mom and dad cussing each other out and all that, pops getting kicked out, mom getting kicked out, we are going to repeat that most likely. You know what I'm saying? Or we could end up kind of doing the opposite. You end up doing the opposite of that, but then really have no basis as to why. You know what I'm saying? You can still hurt somebody else by doing the opposite of what you were taught. But I think awareness is extremely important. Like knowing why those things happen. Yo, it's not till when I got older that I realized that, yo, my parents are people. You know what I'm saying? They're still people. Like there's people that were trying to figure it out, like we trying to figure it out right now. You know what I'm saying? They were those people trying to figure it out, and they didn't even have as much resources as we did. They didn't have podcasts. They didn't have no Instagram. They didn't have nothing.
Yeah.
They just had what they had, and that was it. And then it was even worse because back in those days, I think words held more weight depending on where they were coming from. So it's like there was a lot of women learning about how men are and how they should be, and they were learning them from women. You know what I'm saying? And then you have same thing with men, and men are learning those things from women as well. This is how you treat a woman. This is how you treat a woman. This is what women like, and they learn those things from men. And then we take that and we carry it and we repeat it and we repeat it and we repeat it and repeat it, and it's still happening. It's still happening to this day. You know what I'm saying? And then, but what if we start asking questions, right? Like, yo, what if you don't like flowers? What if you like something else? What if you don't like going to the movies? What if you don't like chocolate on Valentine's Day? What is it that you like? What is it that you are into? Like learning to ask those questions and becoming curious about one another, because kids will see that. And kids will repeat that too. You know what I'm saying? And they will understand like what a relationship is, because everything revolves around relationship. The way you see people behave, how you see them interact with one another. If you see somebody angry, you see somebody pissing in the middle of the street, you see somebody doing a backflip into oncoming traffic. You know what I'm saying? You see all kinds of nonsense that came from some kind of relationship. Relationships are everything. It's the core of who we are. Relationships are important. So they're going to seek certain relationships out because that's what they know from what they see at home.
And you know what? It's crazy you say that, because a lot of what people learn is by what they see. And, you know, I've had this conversation before with you, you know, just personally. I grew up in a one-parent household. Okay. So I don't know what being a dad looks like from my dad, but I know what it shouldn't look like. I know what my kids shouldn't feel like when I'm not present.
Right.
So that determined kind of how I father now, which is what some people call a helicopter dad or whatever you want to call it. Yes, I want to be around my kids. If my kids are playing video games, sometimes I'll walk in the room and just sit on the floor and let them play. I love hearing my kids laugh and enjoy themselves. And it's also important to, like you said, when you're watching stuff, to ask questions. Because a lot of life is seeing and a lot of it is doing, but you got to understand why you're seeing and why you're doing those things.
Yeah.
I'll never forget, I had a pastor. Her name is Melissa. She gave a story one time she was preaching. She said, this young lady, she didn't give a name, watched her mom cook pot roast or meatloaf, excuse me. It was meatloaf. She watched her mom cook meatloaf as a child. And every time the mom cooked meatloaf, she made the loaf, she put all the ingredients in, she formed up the meatloaf, she chopped the ends off, put it in the pan, and threw it in the oven. Without asking questions, she just kept watching it time after time. As she got older, she got married, she had kids, she made meatloaf. She did the same thing. She formed it up, chopped off the ends, threw it in the oven. On her mom's deathbed, she asked her a question that's odd. Mom, after all these years, why is it that you always cut the ends off your meatloaf? The mom said, I didn't do it on purpose. It just didn't fit in the pan. So all these years, the mom who learned by watching her mom was throwing out good food simply because she watched her mom do it without asking the question, why are you doing this? So now she's made meatloaf for 40 some odd years by herself, for her family, for her kids, her grandkids, special occasion, throwing out meatloaf simply because she saw her mom chop off the end without asking the question, Mom, why are you doing it? So it's important, like you said, to ask the questions.
Yeah.
Not only you see the behavior, but ask the questions. Why is this happening? Why are we doing this? You know what I mean? And why am I repeating maybe what I grew up with, which leads me to my final question for you.
Yes, sir.
What were your parents' dynamics like? Now, I know both of your parents. I think they're wonderful people. I love your mom. I love your dad. They crack me up. and tell your dad I still haven't found that paint color, but that BMW is mine as soon as I do. That's an inside joke. But how do you consciously choose to repeat or break some of the habits you saw?
Mm. So their dynamic was my father, and they more old school because they came from a time before ours. So my father ran everything.
Mm.
My father ran everything. So he worked, and my mother worked, but then she stopped working to take care of us. But he worked, and she would kind of manage the monies in the household where certain things go, and he will be out there working. He will work from home, work from home, work from home. So, but whatever decision had to be made, if he did consult her about it, it wouldn't be in front of us. But he was also like the representative of the family, if you will.
Okay.
So whatever decisions are to be made, he would make the decision. You know what I'm saying? And my mother, even if we asked mom something, she would defer to him like a lot. And we didn't like talking to pops before. Because we really didn't understand who he was, and we just saw what it was. And mom never really challenged them either. She kind of played the behind the scenes type of person. So
Okay.
he ran the show. It's like, yo, not his way or the highway, but we couldn't really go to mom because she would defer to him. So everything went back to him anyway. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? So, and when I got older, I'm like, damn, that's a lot of pressure on him because he came up, his mom passed when he was young as well. And it's like he knew certain things about how to be a man and stuff like that from his father. And he had sisters and brothers, and they kind of looked to him as well. So it's like he's learning this on the fly. You know what I'm saying? He's learning this on the fly. He started getting questions from me and my brother. Why you do this? Why you did that? How come it was like this? And he's like, yo, I don't know. I just did that. You know what I'm saying? I just did these things. And certain questions he didn't really ask mom because he didn't know. And that's because he was taught the way he was taught from like older uncles, older aunts. This is how you treat a woman. This is how you treat a relationship. And then their culture, he's from South America. Their culture is different. You know what I'm saying? So it's like he didn't know to challenge those things. Damn, this is wrong. This is right. He didn't know any of that stuff. So the dynamic was like he basically ran the show. My mother was like, I don't want to say, just so you could get the picture, she was like an executive assistant. And he was the CEO. He ran everything, and she just made sure that he was behind the scene making sure that things ran the way it was supposed to. But he was in the forefront, like, yo, look, we moving to this spot, we getting this crib, we doing this, I'm getting that car. You couldn't ask him nothing, you couldn't tell him nothing, you couldn't ask him nothing because he worked hard. So it's like, what you gonna tell him?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's true. It's true.
So,
and it's interesting, just hearing the difference between how you grew up in your household and how now you're running your household. Because in the beginning of this episode, we talked about, that was the first question we had. So it's kind of a full circle moment. How do you make decisions? Is it joint, or was one of the person that had the final say? And to hear, okay, I grew up watching my dad be the leader or the front man, we'll call him.
Yeah.
He was the front man. Regardless if we asked mom, it still came back to the front man. The front man still had the final say, as opposed to how you are managing your household, where it's, okay, I speak to my wife and ask her for her advice because she sees things I don't. You know what I mean? She may have an opinion on something, or, whether that be where you live or what kind of car y'all drive or where the kids go to school. But you have a very opposite, disposition from how you grew up, so maybe, you know what I mean? Like, could you imagine walking in your house and tell your wife, listen, man, this is where we're going to live. This is what, you know what I mean? The kind of discussion that would follow would be very uncomfortable for everybody involved.
But you want to know something? Like, even if I was to do that, she would still follow suit. She'll be miserable. She'll be miserable, but she'll still follow suit. My thing, like, now my parents are more of a unit, of a team. Like, I don't want to say like they know each other like on a more like on a friend type level. The dynamic has softened a lot, and I think it's because we're not there. You know, we older, we moved out or whatever, so we're not there. So, and like as he's softened up, and that's and also with our life experiences too, like me, my brother, my sister, and we come with questions. So that will kind of change how they would move as well. Like, damn, we've been together for 40 some odd years and they've been through some things.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, wait a minute. Like, yo, my mother watches the games with my father.
Mm-hmm.
She know the players. She can call out plays, which is crazy. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? She was like, yo, you see Cat? Yo, why is Cat not picking and popping? You know what I'm saying? Why Cat not in the post? I'm like, Ma? What? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that wasn't the case before. Something happened along the line that made her feel easy or safe or comfortable enough to, I don't know, I guess join him in his world. And it's not even his world anymore, it's theirs.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So something happened. He let go of something to allow her in that way.
Yeah.
Something happened. I believe is because he see me, Oz, and even the people we brought around, even you. You know what I'm saying? I know they look and they see us and what's going on, and it's like, nah, bro. And then with the grandkids, they, you already know they break the grandparents. They break easy. You know what I'm saying?
Right away.
Yeah. So I think, and I like that because that's a testament to their evolution. They're still growing. They're not capped off like, yo, this is it. This is me. That's it. They still continue to grow and evolve and change. And he's still sharing stuff, which is very, very encouraging.
Yeah.
Very, very encouraging.
That's dope feedback. And shout out to Mama and Papa Benjamin,
Yeah.
two of my favorite people in the wide world. Just a fun fact for everybody listening to the podcast. Joel's been my best friend since 2001 when we were in 10th grade. And another fun fact, my son is actually named after Joel. I gave my son's first name from this man's last name. This is how much I appreciate this brother. This is how much I believe in the things he says. This is how much I believe in the character of the person I'm speaking to. So it's not to say that he's just a friend, so I brought him on. It's not to say that he's just educated, so I brought him on, but I have 25 years of real life experience with this person. We were college roommates, even through having kids and being in high school and chasing girls. And after high school and after college, just being adults and trying to find our way in life. This person has always been someone I've been able to call on at any time. And right now we are in 2 different time zones. This man is 3 hours ahead of me, but if I picked up my phone at midnight and called him, I am 100% sure he would answer. That's the kind of person that I'm speaking to right now. So again, shout out to Mama and Papa Benjamin for raising some outstanding kids. Not so much with Oswin, but I love him anyway. But this is my family that we're speaking about. So here we go. This episode is about to wrap up. So Joel, I want to give you the floor. Let you give your final thoughts about the dad and mom dynamic.
Well, with the dad, first of all, let me say this, D, thank you, man, for your words. Thank you for having me on. And you since you came into my life, bro, back in earth science, you changed my life and still do, bro. I went to NIAC because of you, and from there, a lot of things have come to pass from there. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Wow, thank you, man. I'm OD humbled, bro, by your words, for real. Let me see, the mom and dad dynamic. What I would say is this: mom and dad dynamic for those that are married. The thing that can help, or where we can start at, and I think that's really all you need, is if 2 of you agree to come with a posture of servanthood to the other, because both of you guys come from 2 different parts, even with the genders, 2 different types of conditioning. But if both of you guys come together to serve the other, I believe that things will be a lot more bearable when it comes to life. You guys will face life together instead of your partner being part of life's problems. Alignment is important. Discussing what priorities are and aligning yourselves together with those priorities. For those that are not married, I would say this: come together and really, of course, set boundaries, and then align on what's really important. The kids are important, so stay aligned there. And it's going to be hard because you two are familiar with one another. And if it's so that you guys end up getting back together and it's great, that's great. If that's not the case, just keep the kids in the forefront. They are important, they are significant, and so are you. So I would say, for the sake of them, to realign, because whatever position you guys' position is, they get a result of it. And we want to make sure that our kids are good people, and and they may in turn teach you guys a few things as well.
Dope. And we appreciate your time, Joel. We appreciate your insight, not only from your education, but just from your life, and being able to share just, bits and pieces of your life, whether that be about your childhood or how you're shaping your kids' childhood right now. We thank you for your time, and we appreciate everything you've done. And I will say this: Joel is an incredible artist. He is. The guy draws, the guy paints, he does it all. So, Joel, please tell the people where they can find you on social media.
Sure. On Instagram is Joey Benjamin _. So JoeyBenjamin _. TikTok is the same thing. No, TikTok is JoeyBenjamin 85. Facebook is just Joel Benjamin. I got to get some more stuff out there. I've been slacking on the TikTok heavy. But you can find me on there. Mostly on Instagram, though. Joey Benjamin _.
Again, folks, you look him up. The guy can draw. He can paint. He does characters. He does people. I've seen him do it all. So with that being said, Joel, again, we thank you for your time, brother. And I'm going to wrap up this episode by giving my final thoughts. So my final thoughts on this episode, guys: the dad and mom dynamic is important for several reasons. First reason it's important is because your kids are seeing it. Anything you're exposing your kids to ultimately shapes how they feel about that certain institution. So if you grow up in a household where your parents are always complaining about work, your work ethic will be diminished because you see work as a burden. If you grow up in a household where your parents are talking negatively about you or your siblings, you will see parenthood as a burden. It's often attributed how kids grow up. Their thoughts, their actions on things are based on how we present them. If you present vegetables as a good thing, kids will eat vegetables. If you present vegetables as a bad thing, kids won't eat vegetables. It's just that simple, folks. Control your outlook, control your mindset when it comes to what you're presenting to your kids. Ultimately, the decision to be with or without the person that you had that kid with is your choice. However, if there are situations where you guys are forced to be in the same room or the same vicinity, whether that's a graduation, whether that's a wedding, whether that's a doctor's appointment, be there and be present for your kids. Nothing wrong with being cordial with someone that you're not 100% aligned with. I work with people that I don't particularly care for personally, but they're at my job. When I'm at my job is to be professional. My job is to conduct business as usual. And it's the same thing in your household. Conduct your business as usual. Be the best representative for your kids that they can see. Keep them at the front of mind. Remember that your relationship with that significant other, the person that you lay down with to have those kids, is important. The dad-mom dynamic stretches far across a kid's lifestyle. There are people who don't believe in marriage because of it. There are people who don't believe in relationships. There are people who don't believe in love because of what they grew up watching. So I'm not saying that you have to pretend or put on a face in front of your kids and pretend that everything's okay, because it doesn't have to be that way, because we don't want our kids to do that with us when we ask them questions. However, what I am saying is be the best you can be. If there's something that's going on in your relationship, like we spoke about in this episode, get realigned. Everything comes out of alignment at one point or another. I work with wood and tools, and I've built sheds and decks, and I know for a fact that if I take out a screw that's been holding two pieces of wood together and I try to place it back, it may not go perfectly back into the same hole that it came out of. I just replaced the back wheel on my bicycle. I had to take the bike wheel off and take it to the shop. When I came back, I could not get that bolt realigned to save my life. It took me more time to get the bolt realigned than it took the guy to replace the inner tube, put the tire back on, and put more air in the tire. So realignment is key. It's very important, not only for you and your significant other, but for your kids to see that things come off track and they can get back on track. So with that being said, we thank you guys for tuning in to another episode. Guys, exciting news. You can now find our podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. If you want the video version, you can also see that on YouTube. You can find us on social media, TikTok and Instagram at Dedicated Dads Online. And we also have a giving page now. If you want to support the page, you can give a one-time or monthly, but it helps to control the cost of the streaming platform and all the publication that it takes to be put on Apple and Spotify. So with that being said, guys, we thank y'all for tuning in to another episode. We're going to bring you another episode next week. So make sure you tune in. We'll be dropping episodes every Tuesday morning. So this episode will be available and the next episodes will be available every Tuesday morning at 8 a.m. Eastern time. So with that being said, thank y'all for tuning in. Make sure you share, make sure you follow, and we gone.
Father, indeed, the olive oil from my mama is still in the reach. Ironic how it done find its way back to my seed. Find the strength that I need to be all that she need. Truly aware how I'm seen outside the walls of my home. An artist the most, driven by ego alone. The broken bones that I hold from the stones that been thrown repair themselves in the moment I smile in the light. Learning to heal on my own. Lately my body is sore. The way to be